distinguished Senator Goje has agreed to fully endorse and support the choice of the party and that of Mr. President.
Race for Senate leadership in the 9th Assembly take a positive twist as top contenders meet President Buhari.
It's a victory for democracy. It's a testament to what people can do when they come together for the greater good.
As 8th Assembly winds up in an emotional valedictory session, incoming members urged to display patriotism and work harmoniously with the executive arm of government. Government suspends traditional rulers for alleged involvement in banditry and other criminal acts.
We are only here for 1 week to see if there is necessary to change one player because he has a problem with fitness or something like that.
And countdown to the kickoff of African Cup of Nations. Technical advisor rolls out criteria for team selection. A very good evening and welcome to the Network News broadcast live in Abuja on the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. I'm Joseph Johnson, and reading with me from Lagos is Ingino John Adams, and Asmao Abibu Shagari is in Sokoto. Let's start with the National Assembly because the leadership tussle in the Senate may be easing off as two leading members in the race have decided to work together in the interest of peace and unity both in the Senate and the country. This is the outcome of the meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari by the parties involved, Senator Ahmed Lawan and Senator Danjuma Goje, on the need for them to show more commitment to the nation and the APC. State House correspondent Gideon Ifade reports.
It was a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari and Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, after the meeting, says steps have been on for some time now on how to unify the party's leadership in the National Assembly, starting with the Senate.
I'm pleased to announce that distinguished Senator Goje has agreed to fully endorse and support the choice of the party and that of Mr. President to lead the Senate, that is Senator Ahmed Lawan.
Asked if he was coerced to take the decision, Senator Danjuma Goje says as a leader, he has come to respect the value of leadership and therefore must take the honorable path. His position, he says, is due to the conviction that the right thing is being done by supporting Senator Lawan.
In spite of the support I have among my colleagues, senators-elect, I have decided, in difference to the loyalty I have for His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, and in difference to my loyalty to my party, APC, in the interest of the unity of our party and the development of this country, in order to assist Mr. President to deliver on his promises, I have decided to respect his wish by not declaring to contest this Senate presidency. Instead, I am supporting the position of the party and its own position, thereby endorsing the candidature of Senator Ahmed Lawan.
Showing appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari for giving the right leadership, Senator Ahmed Lawan says the nation stands to benefit greatly from a robust and united Senate.
The endorsement by Senator Goje is going to bring so much unity in the APC and indeed in the entire Senate in a very bipartisan fashion. I believe that that is the way to go, and we want to go there into the Ninth Senate united right from outside, kickstart our activities, very important at this time. The country needs a Senate that is focused and united for optimum performance, and I believe that our colleagues in the Ninth Senate or the senators-elect will be happy to hear that this has been achieved.
Present at the meeting includes Senator-elect Ubasani from Kaduna State and the Senior Special Assistant to the President, on National Assembly matters in the Senate, Ita Enang. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
And the Progressives Congress, that's the All Progressive Congress, has commended Senator Danjuma Goje's decision to withdraw from the 9th Senate leadership contest in support of the party's endorsed candidate, Senator Ahmed Lawan. A statement by the party's National Publicity Secretary, Lanre Issa Onilu, commended the fatherly role played by President Muhammadu Buhari in ensuring compliance with party decisions and directives on the alleged sponsored reports against Femi Gbajabiamila, the party's candidate for the speakership position of the 9th House of Representatives, that he was convicted by a court in the United States of America. The party urged Nigerians to ignore the phantom and infantile allegations. In the meantime, the 8th Senate has held its valedictory session, during which it announced that in the last 4 years, the legislators passed the highest number of bills than previous assemblies. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports that the 8th Senate passed 318 bills, 190 higher than the 7th Senate.
After its inauguration on the 9th of June 2015, the life of the 8th Senate under the leadership of Senator Bukola Saraki has officially birthed. It is also going to be the last plenary for some senators, a moment of farewell by the legislators. The senators painted a picture of their performance and challenges in the last 4 years. Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu took the lead.
So we must engage ourselves constructively for the welfare, well-being of our country.
I thank the leadership of this Senate for their support for me. I'm the only woman amongst them.
Those things that we have not gotten it right, we will work hard to ensure that we get them right.
He has May 2020.
Senate President Bukola Saraki explained that the 8th Senate carried out its functions in defense of the Nigerian people and to ensure good governance.
In these 4 years, we are fully engaged on the state of insecurity in the country and spearheaded many initiatives to bring sustainable peace and secure and protect the lives and properties of citizens.
He urged the 9th Assembly to improve on the relationship with the other organs of government. In the last 4 years, 742 bills were introduced in the 8th Senate, with 318 passed. Among them are the Northeast Development Commission Establishment Bill, Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Bill, Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit Bill, National Minimum Wage, and the popular Not Too Young to Run bills. 61 bills were trapped in the committee stage. They are the National Development Bank of Nigeria Establishment Bill, Nigerian Agricultural Processing Zones Establishment Bill, and the National Electoral Offences Commission Establishment Bill, Medical and Dental Practitioners Bill, National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies Amendment Bill, and the Electric Cars Introduction Bill were among the 7 bills withdrawn, while 8 were negatived, that is rejected. 68 bills could not earn presidential assent. Some of the critical bills that could not be passed into law are expected to be reintroduced in the 9th Assembly. These include the Petroleum Industry Bill, the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, and the Companies and Allied Matters Act Amendment Bill. It received 642 petitions and considered 153. Now that the 8th Senate is handing over baton to the 9th Senate, it is expected that some pending issues like the takeoff of e-Parliament and improving the budget process will receive immediate attention by the new Assembly. Senators also paid tribute to 3 of their departed colleagues.
They were also having that passion in them. I remember the zeal that was always expressed by the late Ali Wakil, my neighbor here, Isiaka Deleke, and an eloquent speaker, Senator Mustafa Buka.
Those in favor that this Senate do adjourn Senate die. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate of the 8th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria hereby stand adjourned Senate die.
And that was the sound of the gavel that sealed the existence of the 8th Nigerian Senate.
I thank you all. Thank you, my colleagues. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Meanwhile, Clerk to the National Assembly, Sani Omolori, has received proclamation from President Muhammadu Buhari to dissolve the 8th National Assembly from midnight of Saturday, the 8th of June 2019.
The 9th National Assembly will be inaugurated, and the first sitting will be held on Tuesday, 11th of June by 10 a.m.
43 serving senators will not be returning to the Red Chamber on that inauguration day. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Mukwo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the valedictory session of the 8th House of Representatives has been held, during which House members stressed the need for lawmakers to provide effective representation for the benefit of the constituents and the good of the country. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has the report.
It was a moment of sober reflection as the 360-member House of Representatives held its last sitting, bringing to a close another chapter in the history of Nigeria's legislature. The House members recounted with nostalgia their experiences in the last 4 years since inauguration on 9th June 2015.
For making my life worthwhile. Thank you for putting what they call ice on the cake on my politics.
John McCain, one of the greatest legislators that ever lived, said he wanted to thank the American people for giving him the opportunity to serve something larger than himself, his country. I must borrow those words. I want to thank the people of Nigeria for giving me the opportunity that I even know that I had something larger than myself to serve.
I look back at the 6th Assembly. When we came here, we had 27 women. And today, at the end of the 8th Assembly, we have only 4 of us left.
The people of the Northeast will continue to remain grateful and will continue to remain indebted to this House for passing the Northeast Development Commission Bill unanimously without a single voice of dissent.
To their credit and a feat described as unprecedented, the 8th Assembly passed a record 382 bills,
76 of which have been assented to by the President. I take pride in our corporate accomplishment in these 4 epochal years in the governance annals of our country. With our collective efforts and commitment, we have deepened and grown democracy.
As they said, the legislature is still a work in progress. Lawmakers, therefore, should strive to build on what has so far been achieved.
There's much work to do, and there's very little time to do it. The next 4 years should be 4 years of serious, aggressive legislation that will have a vision to take this House, to take this country to the level, I'm not even going to say the next level, to the level that God has destined it.
Questions are raised. It shows that the Nigerian people, from whichever prism they are looking at issues, are prepared to stay engaged with their representatives.
A minute's silence was observed for the 8 House members that lost their lives in the last 4 years. More than 1/3 of those that constituted the 8th House of Representatives will not be in the 9th Assembly, which is expected to be inaugurated next Tuesday, 11th June 2019. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Well, do stay with us here on NTA Network News. We have more news shortly. Thanks for staying tuned. State chairmen of All Progressives Congress have passed a vote of confidence on the national chairman of the party and members of the National Working Committee. This was made known at the end of a meeting between the chairman and members of the National Working Committee held behind closed doors. The meeting, according to the chairman, reviewed post-election matters involving aggrieved members of the party.
We just inaugurated our president, and in a few days' time, we'll be inaugurating the National Assembly. We want to make sure, having won the presidency and having won the National Assembly, to make sure that the leadership of the National Assembly is as well the leadership we want, and not the leadership that will work against the program of the party.
constitution of the party guides so many things. So by the time we follow the constitution of the party, there will be no too much crisis.
We have read their presentation from those who felt angry, and the chairman has also presented to us his own version in-house, and we have all talked and decided that the best thing that will happen to the party is to resolve our problems in-house and then move forward.
And of course, at the end of the day, their members on their own decided to pass a vote of confidence.
More than 20 state chairmen attended the meeting, including the National Working Committee members led by the National Chairman, Adams Oshomole. Now, the National Broadcasting Commission has announced the suspension of the operating license of DA Communications PLC, operators of AIT and Ray Power Radio. The suspension, according to the NBC, became necessary sequel to persistent use of divisive and inciting contents, which violates the 2004 Broadcasting Code, as well as persistent warning to the organization to exercise caution. NBC Director General Modibo Kau said the organization has failed to abide by the Commission's directives, explaining that the suspension remains until further notice. Chairman of DA Communications earlier in the day led staff of the organization and civil society groups on a protest march to the National Assembly, where he accused the NBC of intimidation and attempt to gag the broadcast outfit. Governor Bello Muhammad of Zamfara State has approved the immediate suspension of the Emir of Maru Alhaji Abubakar Chika Ibrahim and the district head of Kanuma in the same emirate, Alhaji Ahmed Lawal. Now, this was contained in a statement signed by the Director General, Press Affairs, Government House, Gusau Alhaji Yusuf Idris. According to the statement, the duo was suspended following series of complaints about their alleged involvement in banditry and other criminal acts in their domains. The statement further says the Emir and the district head would remain suspended until the outcome of an investigation into the allegation. The Emir is directed to hand over official vehicles and all other government property in his possession to the most senior district head of the emirate, while the suspended district head should hand over to the most senior village head in the district. The statement concludes, Maru is one of the local government areas worst hit by the activities of armed bandits in Zamfara State. And some arrests and recoveries have been made by the Nigeria police in relation to the abduction of Magajin Garin Daura Alhaji Musa Umar. This was disclosed by the PPRO, Katsina State Command, Gambo Isa, while responding to NTS inquiries. He said the police is doing everything possible to ensure his rescue in good health. He says the force is also mindful of the psychological trauma the family of the abducted Magajin Garin Daura is subjected to. Governor Amadou Umaru Fintri has reiterated commitment to end all security challenges in the state. This was when the governor hosted Hunters Association in the state. Yusuf Jika tells us more.
Governor Amadou Umaru Fintri told the Hunters Association that the state is already working on security architecture to ensure provision of adequate security of life and property of the citizens. He warned groups and individuals against any security threat, as no security breach will be tolerated in the interest of peace of the state. Amadou Umaru Fintri, while commending the brevity of hunters in complementing the effort of security operatives, assured them of his support at all times.
Zona lafiya da makwabtanmu, mu kawo zaman lafiya kuma mu yi kiwon juna, mu ga cewa kowa ya barci da idanunsa biyu a rufe.
The Adamawa State Chairman, Hunters Association of Nigeria, Usman Muhammad Tola, promised to sustain its effort of providing security cover in the society. In Yola, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Now, the solid minerals sector in Nasarawa State is at risk of losing its momentum as contributor to economic development due to security challenges in some mining sites. Joshua Jitu reports that the state is in touch with the federal government for miners and communities to give peace a chance.
With an appellation as the home of solid minerals, the potentials are yet to be fully harnessed. In spite of 351 licenses issued to miners by the Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, only 19 are active. Stakeholders say insecurity and land disputes in minerals-endowed communities, especially in Nasarawa local government area of the state, are responsible for the setback in the mining sector. It is against this background that the meeting was summoned between the state government and the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development to find a common ground in resolving lingering land disputes in mining communities in the state to enable miners return to site. Both the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development and the Nasarawa state government resolved to renew their synergy towards ensuring harnessing solid minerals in the state for increased revenue generation and job creation.
So for us to exploit these solid minerals for the benefit of all of us, we have to sit down and work together.
So the idea is to see that we are on the same page when it comes to economic activities that are going to be promoted.
Meanwhile, the state government, in its commitment to boosting revenue generation in the state, the governor visits Nasarawa Geographical Information Services NAGI's office in Karu, where he interacts with staff of the organization. The state government says a centralized revenue collection system will be established to ensure accountability and transparency in revenue collection in the state. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Yobe State Governor Mai Mala Buni has visited returnees in the two Boko Haram most hit local government areas of Gujba and Gulani. Mustafa Yusuf Musa reports that the visit is part of the administration's resolve to strategize ahead of its plan to commence implementation of programs and policies as promised during electioneering campaign.
This is Governor Mai Buni in the midst of hundreds of enthusiastic sons and daughters of Buniadi and Bunigari, his hometown, welcoming one of them home. The visit is coming 1 week after his inauguration as governor of Yobe State and was meant to assess the situation on ground and build people's confidence as Gujuba and Gulani local government areas were the two worst hits by the Boko Haram insurgency in Yobe State until they were liberated by the Nigerian army in 2015. Governor Mai Buni was also at local government secretariat, Central Primary School Buniadi, as well as the palace of Bunigari village head, where he assured residents of his administration's planned programs of action to revive economic and educational activities in the areas. The visit is part of the new governor's resolve to go around all 17 local government areas across the state. In Damaturu, I am Mustafa Yusuf Musa, NTA News.
Performance of troops of Air Task Force Operation Lafia Dole has been described as result-oriented, leading to favorable operational outcomes in degrading the capability of Boko Haram in the northeast. Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar said this in a message delivered by Air Force Chief of Training and Operation Air Vice Marshal Isiaka Amal while hosting troops and members of the host community in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. Naomi Aboko reports.
Staff has since assumption of office made it a duty to regularly visit troops at the front line, particularly those engaged in counter-insurgency operation in the northeast, so as to appreciate their service to the nation and give them a sense of belonging.
It's appreciating all the efforts of the members of the task force. They've been performing wonderfully well, and their actions have actually kept the head of the Boko Haram low within the theater.
While commending the efforts of the troops, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar acknowledged President Muhammadu Buhari's support to the Nigerian Air Force and urged the Air Task Force to remain disciplined and loyal, demonstrating the highest level of professionalism. Commander Air Task Force Operation Lafia Dole, Air Vice Marshal J.M. Gwani, expressed gratitude to the Chief of Air Staff for the reconstruction and remodeling of dilapidated aircraft shelters, as well as provision of necessary facilities that ensures comfort and effective service delivery. In Maiduguri, Naomi Aboko, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari congratulates Pastor William Folorunso Kumuyi of Deeper Life Bible Church as he turns 78. A statement by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, says the president recalls his meeting with the respected cleric at the State House, Abuja, last October, during which the pastor shared deep insights about the country and prayed with him and for the entire country, particularly in respect of the then forthcoming general elections. It's time now to go over to Lagos Network Center, and here is Ingunu John Adams.
Joseph, and welcome to the Center of Excellence. Significant improvements have been made in the effort to rid roads leading to Apapa of trucks, despite earlier resistance. Dotun Oguyemi reports that appeals have, however, been made to government to fix the roads to make them motorable.
Apapa Varco stay in Nigeria, one might think that the holiday is still on. There are no trucks on the Ijora and Mobile Bridge. Idowu is surprised by their sudden disappearance.
All the trucks, I don't know where they are. I don't really know, I can't say. But I know say this morning everywhere they clear.
On Monday or when they start the pass them, they don't go. Some days don't come outside.
While there are significant improvements with traffic management, there are still suggestions on how to achieve efficiency.
Some owners are not having garage. Some owners just buy motor and put it for road. If you want to count them, you will see at least 50% have garage, 50% don't have garage.
They won't start to move. They must shut down for CFAS, Constraint Entrance, Ijora Lokpa Entrance. They must shut down to release container. Because if they don't shut down, many containers where they go, as that one they come out, they will shoot them for inside.
It is more than the 2 weeks ultimatum issued by the Presidential Committee to trucks to vacate all roads and bridges in Lagos. However, motorists plying the Apapa-Oshodi Expressway are still waiting to see any results, as the roads are still a beehive of truck activities. In Lagos, Dotun Oguyemi, NTA News.
After the recession of 2015-2016, the Nigerian economy has continued to grow as one of the stabilizing economies in Africa. Ease of doing business, economic recovery and growth plan, and social investment program are some of the policies of government which have resulted in marginal uptick in its economic performance. Abolade Salami has details.
The Nigerian economy in the last 4 years had gone through thick and thin, but was able to pull its weight through the storm, owing to various federal government policies focused on repositioning the economy. The economy in the year 2016 dipped into recession with a contraction of 1.58% in the real gross domestic product. Government engagement with stakeholders at returning the economy on the path of growth in 2017 resulted in the country's exit from recession with a growth of 0.82%. The growth, which was replicated in 2018, saw the economy grow by 1.92%, with a moderation in inflation rate from 18.7% in January 2017 to 11.37% in April 2019.
Investors are happy to see that the fundamentals are being rebuilt and that the trajectory of several key indices are all moving upwards. So we're making progress.
To further develop the economy and strengthen our productive base, economic watchers have suggested that public-private partnership be intensified, as well as diversify the nation's economy.
We can say that the worst is behind us. We saw a deterioration and we're now seeing improvement. Though the improvement is slow, but it is much better than what we had when we were in a recession. There are aspects that the president must make it as a matter of policy that his emphasis should be to grow the economy.
Government should also complement this by coming up with more environmental friendly policies.
A more defined economic policies that will mitigate unemployment and unproductive business environment, they added, must be considered. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
That's it from Lagos. More reports after this commercial break. Please stay tuned.
This is still NTN Network News, and we are back in Abuja. Let's talk business news now. Rising dollar inflows through the investors and exporters forex window and foreign reserves have stabilized the naira in the official and parallel markets. Chimobi Walter Naji has these on the business package. Chimobi,
yes.
Rising inflows, dollar inflows, I suppose this is expected to improve or impact the nation, right?
Of course, Joseph, the impact is quite enormous, as the I&E export window has actually attracted about $48 billion, to the economy in 24 months. And the Central Bank of Nigeria confirmed this in its update reported on the dollar inflows. The report also shows that foreign reserves has risen to $45 billion with improved availability of foreign exchange. The exchange rate at the I&E forex window has remained stable over the past 2 years at an average of 360 naira to a dollar, and the parallel market exchange rate has appreciated from 525 naira to a dollar in February 2017 to 360 naira to a dollar at present. The CBN Governor Godwin Emefiele said the introduction of the window along the improvement in domestic production of goods has helped shore up the external reserves. The report noted that although the level of reserves was still below the recorded high of $64 billion realized in August 28, it is nearly double the $24 billion recorded in October 2016, increasing by more than $21 billion with current standing.
In the area of conserving foreign exchange, we introduced a demand management approach in order to conserve our reserves and support domestic production of items that can be produced in Nigeria. In this regard, we analyzed our import bill and encouraged manufacturers to consider local options in sourcing their raw materials.
Now to the Nigerian stock market, where trading closed Thursday after 2 days public holidays on a negative note, shedding 1.30% to close at 30,527.07 basis points. Now, the sustained losing streak saw markets trade volume of 217.33 million exchanging hands in 3,686 deals valued at 5.82 billion naira. Now, market capitalization stood at 13.44 trillion naira. Guaranteed Trust Bank led the top traded equities ahead of Zenith Bank and United Bank for Africa. Sure, the 2 days public holidays would have contributed to the slowdown in the markets, Joseph.
Yes, and I'm hoping that the rising dollar inflows would not change in narration. Of course. The narrative should be better and better. Of course. Thank you, Chumobi Walter Naji. Now, it was a wet day in the Federal Capital Territory this Thursday as the rainy season has fully set in. Francis Fum reports on the impacts of the rain and how residents coped while it lasted.
Residents of the Federal Capital Territory this Thursday woke up to a heavy downpour that kept many indoors. And for those who were able to make it to the vehicles, their driving expertise was put at optimal use. At suburbs like the Lokogoma district, houses were almost submerged, while traffic jam was at its peak in Nyanya axis. As the rain takes its normal course, it acts as a reminder on the predictions by NIMET, especially to the farmers, to be mindful of the kind of crops to plant and residents to keep their drains clean. In Abuja, Francis Fum, NTA News.
Oh, believe me, it's been a cold day. The seat of the Caliphate is our next stop on the news, and Asmao is on hand to guide us. Hello, Asmao. How's the weather in Sokoto?
Joseph, the weather in Sokoto is quite cool, as it has also rained here in Sokoto this evening. Good evening and a warm welcome to Sokoto. Public-private partnership has been identified as the best option towards ensuring the realization of the education for all mission, as the sector remains highly capital-intensive. Dalhatu Abdullahi reports that this came to the fore at the 17th annual meeting of the prominent indigents of Sokoto State, held at Sultan's Palace.
The annual meeting used to deliberate on the progress and successes of the Sokoto Education Trust Fund and to recently co-join the matters of the Consultative Committee on Education chaired by the Sultan. Though experiencing the challenge of insufficient funds, the Sokoto Education Trust Fund, initiated by the late Second Republic President Shehu Shagali, had from inception made its presence visible in the education sector of the state. Under the fund's computer training program, over 11,800 youth were trained, and thousands of JAM candidates wrote computer-based tests at the fund's computer center from 2017 to date. The Consultative Committee on Education, under the leadership of the Sultan, had achieved a lot, including construction of 6 schools units infrastructure using compressed earth bricks, 100 classrooms in each of the 3 senatorial zones, 100 Angaya schools, and solar-powered boreholes and electricity in some schools, among others. The annual meeting chaired by Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar also aimed at strengthening unity and a sense of brotherhood, with concerns on how best to change the fortunes of Sokoto State for the better.
There couldn't have been a better platform, a better forum than the one being presided over by His Eminence, where all of the high-level indigenous of Sokoto normally come together to engage and advise government on how to move things forward.
The meeting holds every year. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Sokoto State Government is to set up 2 committees that will work towards implementation of new minimum wage and upwardly review the salaries of district and village heads. Sheikh Muhammad Deti reports that Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol dropped the hint while receiving Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar on Salah homage at Government House, Sokoto.
Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol described traditional institutions as a body that guide both the government and the governed in all spheres of life. The governor called for more advice and suggestions from the traditional rulers, saying their words are words of wisdom. Government, he noted, is to revive the work school in the state with a view to reducing massive unemployment among youths and women in the state. While calling on all and sundry to join hands to fight security challenge in the state, Governor Sambol said signing into law the Tenancy Act is another step towards addressing security threat. He called on the opposition party to join hands with his government to move the state forward. According to him, political rivalry will not augur well for the state, but rather deter its progress. Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar called on the government to devise means of making life easy for the people. He challenged politicians in the state to shun their differences and work together for the benefit and progress of the state. The Sultan congratulated the entire Muslim Ummah on the festive period, calling for more prayers for the nation's leaders. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Deti, NTA News.
And that's our package from Sokoto. The news will continue with Joseph in Abuja. Good evening.
Thank you, Asmao. The daily itinerary of Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya of Gombe State is so unpredictable that everyone must now be at their duty posts because no one can tell when or where the governor would visit. Correspondent Emmanuel Akila reports on the surprise visits by the governor to various establishments in the state.
The agriculture sector is one of the areas Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya pledged to focus his attention on, and to get first-hand information made the unscheduled visit to the ministry.
We are a bit surprised.
The permanent secretary, Madeline Dedan, told the governor the present situation at the ministry. Dissatisfied with the level of preparations for the 2019 farming season, Governor Inuwa Yahaya proceeds to the state fertilizer blending plant.
Whoever has a plant, can negotiate with them with the National Supplement Fund.
in which Gombe state government itself has some investment, as well to negotiate and bring down the raw material required for them to blend or produce for the farmers. Yes, sir. So if you don't follow up and you don't get what is required from your own investment, whose fault is it?
The specialist hospital also received the governor's unannounced visit. The chief medical director briefed the governor on the status of operational capacity of the facility. The governor gave assurance of moving these critical areas to the next level without delay. The governor had received the national president of Boys Brigade Nigeria, Sonu Nwosu, who visited to condole the people and government of Gombe State over the unfortunate incident that led to the death of 9 members of the brigade during last Easter. Part of the governor's activities for the day is the swearing-in of Gombe State Secretary to the state government, Professor Ibrahim Jodi, and the head of civil service, Bapeo Yahaya. In Gombe, I am Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Now let's take a very short break. Join us again. The African Union Peace and Security Council has, with immediate effect, suspended the participation of the Republic of Sudan in all AU activities. The Council, in a statement, says the suspension remains until the effective establishment of a civilian-led transitional authority in the country. The Security Council believes that such measures is the only way to allow the Sudan to exit from the current crisis. Only players that are consistent in their clubs with match fitness will be considered for the nation's cup final team. The Super Eagles technical advisor, Gerard Raw, affirmed this in Asaba as the team intensifies preparation for the finals in Egypt. Austin Edemodu reports.
For days now, the Super Eagles of Nigeria have